Have you found the right memorabilia that you want to take home with you on your table? I'm sure you can tell already that this is not a normal memorial, right? My name is June Dillinger, and I'm just going to begin by sharing with you how I met Matt and Paul. One day, I was at Unity Church. I had just come back from a vacation, and my friend Gary Chen said, "June, I'd like you to meet Matt and Paul." And I said, "Hello," and they said, immediately, "We've been to your house." And I said, "You've been to my house?" And they said, "Oh yes, Gary had a dinner party and he invited us. And what an adorable home you have." And we have been friends ever since. So much so that when these two gentlemen decided to get married, they invited me to be their minister. And I'm absolutely honored to be here today for Paul and for Matt and for the family and friends and everybody that's here to celebrate this amazing man. And honestly, the love that these two had, because they served as an example of what love can really be. They showed us what a relationship can be like and be successful, even when you're not together all the time, right? And they traveled a lot. So I'd like to invite you to take a look at all the slides as we begin today. There are a few things I also want to share is that all of these items on the table, they are takeaways. So if you need a little mini sombrero for Halloween, this is for you. And I think, young man, you might need this beret, right? And so feel free to take a look. We want to be sure that everything is gifted, and that includes muumuus, caftans, that includes feather boas. Come on, I know some of you have always dreamt of having one of these, right? I know you have. And there's even a pair of gold shoes down here. So I would invite all of you to come up and please take something home with you. And as a matter of fact, there's a whole bag full of goodies down here, and there would be nothing that would make Matt more happy than you taking a piece of him home. And I know Paul most likely doesn't want to take much of this back with him either. And then lastly, I want to be sure that all of you come up here to this incredible spread. This is what Matt and Paul's hotel room looked like on the ship. They had it all set up so that he could practice, and everything was in place and he was prepared so he could practice in advance. And then come take a look at the table up here. These items here are just museum pieces. So these items are not for take home. And I want to let you know that while we feel the essence of Matt in this space, we feel him. He's also present here beneath this Waialae. So just know that his remains are here, and he's a part of the celebration, which is really special. So I'd like you to indulge here. You can see his music book and a variety of things. And there's one photograph here that I want you to look at in the frame, and it's a speech that I'm going to share by Jerry Denton. Jerry wasn't able to be here. So if you'll bear with me. Oh, I have a question. On a scale of 7 to 1, 7 being I'm totally tuned in, I really want to be here. This is so exciting. I'm here to celebrate Matt and Paul, and especially Matt is a 7, and a 1 is like, dang, I've got 12 million other things to do. Where are you? How many 7s do I have in the room? Yes, that's what I wanted to see. Awesome. All right, and I hope you have a little tissue. So I'll be reading this for you. Metaphysical book study group in the mid-1990s at Unity Church. There we explored who we were, what we believed in, what we feared, how we would overcome those fears, and how we could be better people. This proved to be the foundation for a friendship that lasted 30 years. I saw Jerry, this is a couple pages, so bear with me. I saw Jerry last week at Unity, And I shared some things that I knew about Paul and Matt, and he said, June, I really feel like I need to redo my talk. And I said no, because there are some poignant pieces in here that probably a lot of people don't know. Because Jerry and Matt shared pieces of their heart with one another that allowed them to grow in their relationships with their mates and really unfold into the truth of who they were. At that time, Matt was an attorney, but he talked about wanting to develop a gay cabaret. His dream was to play in New York and San Francisco, and maybe on a cruise ship or two. And I understand from Jim over here, he's seen Matt's show at least 30 times. So we know that came to fruition, right? He feared the effect of radical change from his legal career and worried that doing a gay cabaret would not be successful. His greatest fear? What if nobody came to see him? He never feared he wouldn't be accepted. He feared that people wouldn't show up. His first concert was in the chapel at Unity Church. Can you imagine that? We decorated the chapel, set it up as a cabaret, sold a few tickets, and waited. Matt was in good form, well received, and he was the only mildly disappointed person there in the turnout. We talked it through and decided another venue might be better, so his next concert was at Hawaii Pacific Radio at the Atherton Studio. Again, his greatest fear? What if nobody comes? Well, that show had an audience of about 40 people. And Matt saw it as a huge success because the room only seated 50 people. Almost sold out. He seemed to be on his way. That was the last time I saw Matt perform, except when he sang at my wedding in 1997. Over the next 20 years, Matt and I would get together and talk about our place in the universe and give updates about our lives. We were both very busy and very different careers, and we would laugh at the similarity and challenges in our very different worlds. It was the beginning of COVID that brought Matt and me together again. He fell outside his home and injured his face. We talked about whether it was a sign that he should change careers again, his health, and facial injury and loss of cruise ship activity brought up new and old fears for him. Now, nobody could come to his shows. Maybe there wouldn't be new shows. What was going on with his health? Matt used that time to improve his health, lose weight, find new avenues of income, and he managed to keep his music alive. His fears gave him pause, but it helped him see new possibility. We got together again shortly after his cancer diagnosis. While we walked Kailua Beach, he shared his greatest fear was that the cruise lines would hear that he had cancer and not invite him back to perform. He felt that the cancer was beatable. I'm sure you all know that by the hashtags, right? But he was angry that it had not been diagnosed earlier. We laughed together, cried together, and pondered what the future might hold, no matter how long it might be. He set his fears aside and moved forward as best as he could, living on and fighting the disease. November 25th, 2023 was the last time Matt and I shared our lives together. We spent more than 4 hours talking story, reminiscing, letting our anger and sadness out, and expressing love for the lives that we touched and the time that we shared. It was the first time he told me about his career in the gay cabaret that he had envisioned so many years ago. I asked him when he lost the fear that nobody would show up. He gave me that Matt Yee knowing smile and said, I have always been afraid nobody would show up. It never left. During that time we were together, we talked about being okay with our fears, knowing that they didn't define us. At the end of our time together, he said he was okay with everything and that he could let go and not have to fight anymore. He seemed more at peace. I've heard it said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to do what is right in spite of fear. For the 30 years I knew Matt, he was courageous. He never let fear stop him. He made the decision to give up law and follow his heart. He turned an accident into a new focus and consciousness. He faced the uncertainty of a heart-wrenching diagnosis, and each night when he performed, he faced his fear that nobody would show up for his show, and he showed up and gave it his all. He faced his fears and found peace with himself and the world, even as his time came to an end. He was unquestionably courageous. That's the Matt Yee I knew and know. One of the most courageous people I have ever known. The world is a better place for his contribution. I am better for his friendship. I am sure that all of you are better for his friendship, for him being a part of your family and everything that he has brought to your life. I was honored to be able to ask to share Jerry's speech because once upon a time, he was the Youth and Family Education Director at Unity. And when he passed the wand down to me, I knew that I was on the right track. And then the gift to be able to perform the ceremony for Matt and Paul. I don't think they've been back to my house since. Well, you'll need to come over and bring a little bit of, oh wait, I'm taking some Matt home with me. What am I saying? We do have another offering, and it's from somebody very near and dear to Paul and Matt. If I can please have Reverend Al Miles come forward. Let's give him a warm welcome.
I was asked by Paul to share a few words, and I have to say right now, I've been the chaplain at Queens Medical Center for 31 years. Paul and I have known each other since 1995. We have become closer and closer over the years, and it's highly unethical for a pastor to be sharing what someone shares with him in private. So when Paul said, I'd like you to share some of the things that I've shared with you in private, I took that as a permission to share. Is that right, Paul? Okay, good. Paul and I had passed each other by many times over the years since 1995. He worked with very vulnerable people at Kikela for a number of years, and I worked out of the hospital, and we got to know each other. And I would always see this tall, blonde, handsome man go by speaking to me, and I didn't know who he was. And I think he felt the same way about me, not tall and blonde, but he did feel the same way about me. So we went about not talking, not talking, and then he asked me one day before he retired, he said, can I come see you in your office? And I said, sure, the door is always open. And he began to share about the love of his life, a man by the name of Matt. And let me say that I never had the privilege to meet Matt but I did meet Matt because of Paul. As Matt's cancer diagnosis and Matt's health began to worsen, just picture yourself on Queens Medical campus, outdoor place, a table, and these two men sitting, holding each other, crying and laughing together. That was Paul and me for several months. And the thing that I am not supposed to share, but I do have permission to share, was we talked mostly about the beautiful relationship that Matt and Paul shared for many years. And I am so honored to know you, Paul. I'm sorry for Matt's death. Thank you for all that you shared. The love, the grief, the pain of having a lover dying, the joy of travel and all that you've done together. And we talked a lot about Australia together, one of my favorite places, and Kathy's. And I just want to thank you and continue to pray and hold you in my heart. And Kathy and I keep you in love always. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. To celebrate Matt, yes? So I would like to introduce to you, oh, not quite ready yet. One moment, please. Are your fingernails on the way, honey? Do I need to help you? Oh, she's self-sufficient. Thank goodness. I'm so glad. And look at these sparkly microphones. Woo-hoo. All right, I'm glad you got it going on here. All right, we're just getting our little system set up, plugged in and tapped in, turned on, tuned in. There we go. All right. May I introduce you now, young lady?
Waialae.
Ah. Paul said he needed to have some entertainment, and he was looking for somebody very special. And I said, I know who she is. I've seen her perform a few times this last year. And so if I may introduce to you, Miss Candy Shell. She has 3 songs for us, so let's give it up for Candy.
Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm giving a commencement speech right now. I'm just gonna put this right over here. Let's stick this right in here. Hi! I'm just putting my notes together here. So, guys, I know usually people don't have notes when they sing a song, but Piano Man has a lot of words in it. It really does. There's the old guy, and then there's the bartender, and then there's Paul, and I just get mixed up after that. But we're going to give it a go. But before that, there is a song that I learned for this Piano Man. I already knew, or I thought I did. But there is a song by Julia Fordham called Falling Forward that was Paul and Matt's song. And it really is just such an amazing tune, and I'm so grateful that I learned it through you. And there it goes. Oh, do I get to jump out of the cake?
Oh, that's the next party.
Okay.
I'm just not sure you can get over your hair, honey.
Oh, well, you know, we gotta get a bigger cake. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, we can try. It's a hockey leg. Oh, I love it. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Let's just give the Candy Shell another round of applause. You ever perform like her? No, it's just magical.
Yeah, the biggest hair that you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I kind of want to have some hair like hers. I'm almost that color.
You can try it on later.
Okay, good. I'll be
We'll
backstage. Oh, that'd be great. I love it. I absolutely love it. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the guests here this afternoon?
Well, you know, I didn't know Matt, but it is funny because learning so much about him through Paul, I feel such a strange kinship because of our, well, we both kind of changed our minds a little bit later in life than most people do and decided to be performers. And we both had a penchant for lovely gowns and female singers. I may have taken it just a little bit more to the extreme, but I also play piano. You guys may not know that, and so like just learning about his life was, I felt this strange kind of like, oh my gosh, this is like me. This is like another me in this world, and I feel so graced, even to have it be here right at the end, to have been a part.
When I saw Candy last week, I asked her, what is your vision? What do you want? And it reminded me of her answer when Paul said, I just want people to show up. She said, I'm not sure. And I said, how about the Rockahula stage at the Royal Hawaiian? Let's show up for that. And her eyes just turned to like bug lights. And she said, I think I could do that. So let's manifest that for her and her team at the Rockahula. I'm singing that for you. Let's give her a last round of applause.